and welcome to No Such Thing as a Bad Movie podcast. I'm April Atmansky, and I'm here today with...
Justin DeClue. Woof.
And Colin Cunningham.
Woof, woof.
Oh, do we have a dog in here?
I used to be a man, but now I'm a dog.
The dog doesn't even bark in the movie.
You know, it's so funny that you're doing that voice right now is all throughout this movie. I kept thinking it was you. It sounded like you.
What, the guy doing the voice of the dog?
Yeah, well, like, it sounds like Justin.
It was more like a Jim Carrey-ish, like, somebody stop me.
I could totally see you like doing this voice.
It did
I was just making
sound like you, Justin.
Yeah, it was kind of just making me laugh.
Oh, well, I'm glad to have been part of Love on a Leash.
Yeah, so Love on a Leash is the movie that we're doing today. I believe the date on IMDb is 2011.
Who really knows?
It was filmed like 5 years before that, so...
and then lost in a time vortex only to come out completed somehow. Well, completed a strong word there.
I think it only came out
Escaped.
recently. Yeah, on Amazon
From
and
the
became
Disney Vault.
Available to the public. So Love on a Leash.
Why did you choose this movie, April?
Well, it's been on my radar for a while. I have been wanting to watch it for a while. We've had some requests from listeners and patrons, and I knew it was available. And we were talking about that Rover Dangerfield last week and talking about dog movies. And I was just like, dog movies. Yeah, we still haven't done Love on a Leash. But I wanted to watch a different movie this week, and I gave you guys a choice between that and this, and you chose this one, and I'm not sure we made the right choice.
Oh, I think we made the right choice.
Yeah, we did.
I don't remember the last time I laughed watching a movie as much as I did watching Love on the Leash, being like,
April,
what is going on?
It is so confusing. April was really upset last night after watching this movie.
I was just befuddled, and I didn't really enjoy watching this. Although we did laugh.
In retrospect, yeah, she was pacing around. That she's like, "Oh my god!" But that wasn't even. We can't even talk about this movie. There's nothing to talk about.
I wanted to watch the Tyler Perry movie, but you know what? Maybe next time I get to pick. But upon retrospect and thinking about it and learning more about the crazy behind the scenes story. Mm-hmm. I actually appreciate this movie a lot more for what it is, which is a terrible, terrible movie, but it's very odd and bizarre. And now I have some answers to why it is so bizarre. But let's get right into it. The big problem with this movie, with the version that is available to watch, is that there's no music.
I think that's an artistic choice, April.
No, it's not. That makes it really difficult to watch because you feel like you're watching like a snuff film.
Yeah, it's like a horror. It's like a horror film.
That when the movie starts, over a bunch of shots of the playground, the dog running around, you're like, "Is my sound off? What's going on?"
Yeah,
it's like
we did the same thing.
Bit that like everybody goes up to the TV and they hit it because they think something's wrong.
We did. We turned it off. We rewound it. And like, are you sure? Like, there's no track.
Yeah, and it makes it bizarre, and it doesn't make it. It makes the process of watching the movie much, much worse. And I feel like if it had the score, whatever that was, this could be like, on the level of something like The Room or something.
Oh, I think the lack of audio makes it so much better.
Yeah,
the lack
I would say.
Music.
Yeah, I would say watch, not that you're ever going to find a version with audio, but,
with
don't
sound.
watch it with the music.
So music, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, but I looked it up online, like just to make sure it wasn't like an issue, like, we weren't watching like the wrong version or something, but somebody said they purchased a DVD, I think from the filmmaker's website, and it did have a music track.
Oh, really?
Yes. So the reason why, I have the insider info. The reason why the version on Amazon and Tubi and the one that's on YouTube is because when they made the movie, the director didn't get contracts for anybody for anything. Nobody signed anything. And you know how Amazon is very litigious when it comes to music.
Oh.
So there was a composer on this. Their name is in the credits, but they didn't.
I thought he just composed all the
releases.
songs the dog sings.
They didn't get releases or any kind of legal documents or anything. So she had to pull the music out before it was posted to Amazon.
Wow.
Prime.
It's so disturbing watching it without music.
I think it's much better without music, especially because it highlights the dog's jokes, where it's just in a vacuum.
Disagree.
I thought it was like Tim Rice that did the lyrics for the dogs.
Let me just give a quick description of this movie. It is a movie that is on the budget level of like Birdemic or what's that movie that I love about the two gay characters?
Oh,
Ben and Arthur.
Ben and Arthur.
Were you shocked at the end when during the bloops there was someone with a clapperboard?
Yes.
Those weren't even bloopers. Anyway, so it's about I guess it's supposed to be like a romantic comedy about a girl who falls in love with her dog, but the dog is a human that has been cursed to be in a body of a dog.
Is he a human that's cursed to be a dog, or is it just a dog that wants to be a human?
No, they say he was cursed.
Oh,
yeah,
do they?
he was cursed. He says it's like one's glossed over in one line. But is he?
What did he do for his sins to be cursed to be a dog?
I believe he's reincarnated as a dog.
No, he said he was cursed because he was cheating around or something.
He was a bad husband.
Something like that.
So he
I don't
abandoned
know.
a wife and child or something like that?
Something like that. So he meets this woman and he falls in love with her and he becomes a human
Why are you racing
night.
through this? I have so many notes. April, I'm going to be the Colin now and be like...
I just need to give people the basics of this movie because
As
I'm
we
going to
go
talk about some
shot by shot
stuff.
and this podcast runs for like 7 hours.
Yeah, so it's about a woman who falls in love with a dog who is a dog during the day and a human at night.
I think you skipped the most important part, which is he is working on a stand-up act, which he says to no one in particular except for us, the viewer, and yeah, it needs some work.
Well, he talks to the audience.
Yes.
Because probably to fill those awful silences. So this movie is the brainchild of, what's the director's name?
Fen Tian.
Fen Tian. So she is from China. She came from China to Los Angeles, or California, to make this movie. She got funding from a church in China because it had supposedly good morals in it about marriage and love, I suppose. So that's how she got funding.
There's one shot of the girl praying to God that she finds a man.
Yeah. The reason this movie is so bizarre was because English was her second language, and it's kind of like a Troll 2 scenario. She was writing the script in Chinese and then got it translated.
It was Google Translate.
Well, it might have been before Google Translate existed.
That's what the actor
that's
said.
what he said. It was Google Translate before Google Translate existed. And the reason I know all this behind the scenes stuff is that I watched the video interview with the guy who does the voice of the dog, whose name is, in the movie, it's Alvin Flang. Stephen Kramer Glickman is his name. Mm-hmm. And he was brought in to do the voice of the dog, like basically after the movie was done.
Oh, but he didn't even see a frame of the film. He thought the movie was going to be animated.
Well, yeah, like so that was the first time he did the voiceover. They just did it all like in the office of like I think the comedy club he worked at, and he was like a semi-successful. He worked at the Comedy Store, so that's a big.
Wasn't he Shrek
place.
as well?
No, he auditioned to be Shrek on Broadway.
Okay.
And he didn't get
he
it.
was not
But
good
yeah.
enough to be Shrek. You got to be
so
the cream of the crop to be.
I mean,
that.
on the stage. The stage.
No, I know
musical.
that's cream of the crop right up there on stage.
Well, we should say that Ralph the Movie Maker did the interview, and
Well, yeah, that's the only reason I quite possibly the only reason anyone knows about this movie. I think he discovered it, when it was floating on the Amazon seas and kind of brought it to everyone's attention and then convinced all his followers to give it a 10 out of 10 on IMDb.
Oh, okay.
So that's why the rating on IMDb is
it's like
so
9.1.
And I heard somewhere that he got kicked off IMDb for doing that. I don't know if that's true.
That's
yeah, they showed up at his house
he
and they're like, "We've been hearing what you've been saying." Took him out.
How dare you say Love on a Leash was good?
Yeah, it's clearly bad. There's no music. It's a stylistic choice.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah. So the guy who does the voice of the dog did the voice without seeing the movie at all, and then when the movie was done, like I think it might have even been years later, they were like, "You have to come in and save the movie. We need you." So he did it for free, and he watched the movie and basically like Mystery Science Theater, like playbacked. And did the voice and added all these jokes.
I was going to make that joke, and that's clearly what's happening in this movie.
So he did it live while watching the movie, like just riffing.
Yeah,
no, I think that
he was just jazzing it. He's like, "Hey, don't touch me! I'm not gay."
No, that was in the script.
Oh, okay.
The I'm not gay version. Yeah, no. So everything from the beginning of the movie was like apparently more in the script, and she was like sitting over his shoulder saying, "No, say it like this. Say it like this."
Apparently he was saying like he would deliver it naturally, and she would always give him line readings and do it exactly as I'm saying. And because English wasn't her first language, he ended up just saying, having all these like weird intonations.
The dog
and
is
inflections.
constantly talking about like Prozac and doggy Prozac. Like,
Yeah.
So it's hard to tell like what, because he did improv lines as well, but it's hard to tell like what is improv and what was in the script, or what he's just saying it sarcastically and she didn't notice, because he's clearly making fun of the movie as the movie is happening. And I gotta say, that made this movie a lot more enjoyable, having this dog commenting on like, just don't use it to buy a green dress. And it's like the dog.
Why is this room so? April, you're rushing through this movie. We need to set people up.
Anyway,
Okay, let's go back. Let's go
And
back
then the
to
credits run and it's over. You've been listening to No Such Thing as a Bad Movie.
let's take it all the way back to the beginning, to the duck pond. This is the first time, you realize there's no music track. Something's wrong with my stereo.
I hope you like ducks.
I hope you like this duck pond, because holy smokes.
And you hear the voice of the dog just ring out like in a void. And he's like, "Where's everybody? Where's the ladies at? No girls, no fun, man." Just like back to back to back, just these like empty lines with no context.
And you have no context. This dog is strangely horny for human women.
He is so horny for human
You know
women.
what? Everyone in this movie is horny.
You don't know why, but this dog wants a woman really bad. And you're thinking, okay, like, he's talking about lady dogs. He's talking about human women.
Yes.
Well, I guess because he's a human cursed to be in a dog.
We don't know
body.
this. We
Until
don't know
he comes
this.
to a magic glowing pond and he starts yelling at it. He's like, "You laughing at me, pond? I can't stand you."
Yeah, he starts talking to this pond, and the pond says, okay, find a woman and I'll make you a human?
No, the pond has this like Final Cut Pro like spark. No, it's like a video toaster.
It's almost like a confetti kind of effect.
Effect over it.
Dude, you know when you used to send like a jib jab card to someone and it would be
it's
like,
like that
Used
level
to.
of like clip art.
My aunts, and I'm not even joking, April can attest to this. My aunts
still send jib
jabs.
How is that website still?
I don't know.
He's like, "Listen, Colin, have you seen this? A frog in a blender."
They are
Nothing better
so
than this.
horrifying. So like every St. Patrick's Day and every birthday and every Christmas, I get a jib jab with my aunt's heads.
from Icebox Animation.
Yeah, I do.
I saw one where she put your heads in it.
She'll put my head. So I just have it's just absolutely horrifying.
Sounds like a nightmare,
Now,
just like the movie that we're watching.
I read on IMDb, speaking of this pond, and I don't know if this is true, and I don't see how this can possibly be true, but that Helen Hunt turned down the role.
That feels like a fake.
Turned down the role of
credit
the
there.
pond because she was too busy.
That can't be true.
Well, okay, the director, Fen Tian, was one of the aunties in Joy Luck Club. Was Helen Hunt in Joy Luck Club or something?
No.
Okay.
I've seen Joy Luck Club. She's not in it.
Okay, then never mind.
So this pond tells the dog, "You need to find a woman who wants to have sex with you. Otherwise, you'll never turn into a human being."
Yeah.
Did she say that, or did she say fall in love?
Fall in love.
Fall in love. But we know what the dog wants, because he's like, "She is sexy."
He's constantly, oh my God.
Griffin.
Yeah, so now I guess it's the same day. This is like another running theme of this movie, that it is so difficult to tell how time flows in this universe.
Yeah.
You just have to look at their hair. If they're gray, then that means they're old people.
But you don't know. Everyone, it's like all the clothes seem to be the same, like you don't know if is this the same day? Is this the next day? How much time has passed? So we're introduced to our the main girl and her friends, kind of like lying in the park. The main girl.
Lisa.
Okay, now
What's her name?
this is funny. Was 100% sure her name was Lisa, but she's credited the actress's name is Jaina Camp, but on IMDb her character's name is Jaina.
Yeah, I noticed that as well.
But they call her Lisa through the entire movie.
That's gotta
It's
just
probably
be a
just whoever
mistake.
filled it
I
in
don't
got
know.
screwed up. That's pretty much
know.
what it is.
I think it was the dog.
Jaina Camp, who also appeared in Invasion USA as Christmas daughter and a cult member in an episode of CSI.
Oh, good
So
for her.
what a line. That's like someone who lives in LA that's like, "I'm finally gonna make it. I'm finally gonna star in a movie."
Well-
Then it ends up being Love on a Leash.
Well, I have the insider info on what happened to that actress.
Oh, no.
She fell in love with the
With the
guy
dog?
who played the dog.
No.
The man. And they got married and had a kid, and they both left the industry.
You're kidding.
Well, that's what
And
Alvin Flang
was
said.
their child a dog?
Is it a puppy?
The jury's still out.
Yeah, I don't know yet.
So the chemistry was real.
This is-
There's
okay.
no chemistry. Like,
Yeah, they're anyway, so we're introduced to our the main actress and her friends. They're lying in the park trying to find men. The main actress is wearing like this sort of green one-piece bikini, and boy,
this is very important when it comes to her character.
And her friend is wearing this purple bikini, and if you notice, the color green is very, very important to the main character. And anytime you see the other character, she's always wearing purple, like purple in her hair. No, it's
pink
purple.
and purple.
It's purple clothes, and it just reminded me of Unbreakable. You know, like Sam Jackson's always wearing purple, and then David Dunn's character is always like green.
Well, this is like the neon version of that.
I know.
Yeah, and we learn a very important character trait here as well, which is the main character, Sarah's like, if I don't find a man, I'll die a virgin.
Lisa,
and the
not
dog's
Sarah.
like,
yeah, he's salivating. He's over to the side going, "Rrr."
Yeah, staring at her like a slasher serial killer.
They meet the dog, and
the friend says, "There's nothing in this park but freaks, geeks, and players."
That's one of the great examples of this dialogue that is very, very strange and almost Lynchian at times.
Yeah, it turns into a Lynchian nightmare near the end, or halfway through, I should say.
There's a lot of like weird angles and stuff in this movie.
There's
as well.
so many Dutch angles,
like Dutch angles, yeah,
and
all
like
over the place.
dark, shadowy lighting.
Yeah, like Argento
weird.
Style lighting, where at one point it's like pink light and the room is lit green behind them instead of just.
I mean, most of the movie takes place in her apartment, where, and I mean, I know it's supposed to be like night a lot of the times, but it's just lit very ugly.
Yeah.
Ugly.
Ugly.
Well, so the dog gets into her house. I mean, he like lays down in front of her car. She picks him up,
and he
takes him back.
He dirties himself up, and he's like, I know, girls can't, they're suckers for the pathetic type or something like that. Mm-hmm. And even her car is green.
Yeah, yes. I mean, and when he gets to her apartment, he just can't stop riffing on that green room. He's like, oh, everything's green. Everything
is green. And like her phone is painted green. Her soap in the bathroom is green.
I have a reason why. The director said everything is green because in China, green means horniness. Horny. And she's horny. So that's why everything is green.
Oh my God.
It has a cultural significance.
It just makes her look like a crazy person.
Yep.
Yeah, it does.
It does not. Yeah, I'm not getting, but you know, even her like soap and like everything in her bathtub is coordinated green. It's just,
and our hero works well. Actually, I'm talking about Lisa because clearly the hero is the dog, the wisecracking dog. Oh, and if people think that like his mouse is moving or something like that, it's not. No. It's just like voiceover as the dog is on screen. Can you imagine if his mouse moved the entire time?
Oh my God. They just put like peanut butter in his mouth or something.
What's weird to me is like I think they recorded the actor doing the dog's voice probably before they shot the whole movie, because when they came back later they were like, that voiceover doesn't work at all now. So I'm guessing maybe the movie like drastically changed from beginning to while they were shooting it to the end.
So you think it was much more serious? Like the dog was like, I love your green room. It accents your personality.
Yeah. It could
horniness.
Can we talk about this crappy dress store that she works at?
Oh my God.
Awful.
Yeah. Like, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with discount dress stores, but like this place it reminds me of stores in my hometown that we used to go to where you could get like 3 for $10 or less than that. And like, later she goes to the boss's house and he's like, yes, I'm a millionaire and I own 4 of these stores. It's like, these are bargain bin dress stores.
Yeah.
And we should point out that like her coworkers are all psychos.
Oh my
Each
God.
and every one of them.
Well, we'll get to that, but you know, this first of all, this dog, we introduced the actually, let's just stick.
Have we introduced the dog? We have, Colin.
No, the dog is singing before this. Okay, maybe let's just wait till after the department store scene. But
well, is it at the department store scene where like she's being hit on by like multiple men?
Yes.
Yes.
Basically, she's like hit on by her coworker, a very like meek man, and then her boss, who's like, "Let me give you a back massage. There's a spider on your back."
this boss, I couldn't
gross.
decide who he looked more like. He looked like a mix of like Gary Cole, Chris Maloney, and Chris Christopherson.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
And he's like, "You need to look good for the customers. I'm the manager, and I insist."
He's like, he's like feeling her up at one point. But in the first scene, she's helping a lady that's trying on a dress that's too tight, clearly. And, she says, "I won't sell you this dress." So the manager's called over, and like sort of ushers the lady away. And this lady comes
back later. She is the worst actress ever. Like, I mean, she's very over the top, but like it's a very annoying performance.
Every time she appeared on screen, April would throw up her hands, knock whatever furniture was around, and she was like, screw this movie.
Yes, that is basically how I felt watching her on screen.
So her coworker kind of asks her on a date, but through coat hangers. He's like looking through coat hangers, and he's like, are you doing anything tonight? And I guess it's implied that they go on a date because there's like 2 shots, super quick shots of him showing up and them sitting down. And I think she's holding a flower.
That's the date.
That's the date.
Are you talking about the like elderly Asian man?
He's not elderly.
No, the first one she goes out
He's
with is
a
like
lot older than her.
Is the guy that's like, "Oh, what do you wear? What's your size? Pick whatever you want."
Yeah, that's like the weird guy with his mother issues.
Yeah, and then when she goes out on the date with him, the guy is like,
"Oh, that's later. That's later, though."
No, that's the first date that she goes on.
No, she goes on the first date with the Asian guy.
It doesn't matter what order it is.
In this very scene that I'm talking about. But like I was telling April, I'm writing down all these scenes and I'm trying to pay attention to the chronology. It does not matter. It's like every scene in this movie is just kind of randomly placed. It feels, and
because all that matters about her Asian coworker is it's revealed that he wants her to marry him because he's gay, and he wants her to have his child, so his family will not suspect anything.
And she's very upset by this.
Yes.
So she goes on like a series of bad dates. Like that's one of them because it seemed like they were getting along, but she cries like every
all
scene.
the time.
Yes. It's like every other scene she's like
very upsetting.
Left sobbing on the ground. But there's like
and so we were talking about that creepy mother's boy.
Mama's boy.
And her date with him is also with his mother, who tells her that she can marry the guy, but she has to have her tubes tied. Oh, that's so insane.
It was because he has a child already from a previous marriage.
I can't remember.
And they're like, "Well, I don't want you having any more kids with him. You will become this child's mother, but you can't have your own children."
This whole scene is so disturbing. And, talk about David Lynch. It's just like all the furniture that they're sitting on, those like old people furniture.
Yes. Ornate couches.
Just like horrible old, like kind of gold ornate wooden carved couches with like, it's just awful.
So you were particularly put off by the furniture in this scene, not the telling her to get her tubes tied.
Well, there's the addition of that, and the fact that like the guy, she doesn't even allow the guy to stick around. She's like, "I want to talk to your girlfriend," and it's implied that, like I'm saying, time is nebulous in this whole movie. It's implied that she's been dating the Asian guy for weeks.
Well, it's also implied that she's dating all of these people at the same time. That is what her mom tells her to do.
Oh, that her mom tells her from like the shadow-filled home where she lives.
Yeah, so she's like
a creepy
sitting in
chair.
the dark and calls her.
It's like
she's like, "You should date as many men as you can."
That's what I do. It's like they're building up some like MCU villain or something.
Well,
like,
her mom is the villain of the film,
but they're going to reveal her at the end or something. It's like, "Oh, it was the puppet master."
I mean, all of this is kind of building up that we get like that the sexual politics in this movie are horrible and they're really out of whack because I don't know how old she's supposed to be, 20s, and it's like, you need to get married.
Yeah, or you're a piece of shit. You might as well kill yourself.
But it's also like her mom isn't like, her mom wants her to date as many men as possible, as if like if she doesn't, she'll be an old maid. And where the daughter is just like, I agreed that I was going to wait for love, which is the right thing to do, for her.
God forbid.
And everyone, the friend, there's a weird like fortune teller lady later who I think might be her grandma. They're all
like,
just saying,
is it her aunt? I was very confused.
Yeah, that was like some busybody Eastern European auntie or something like that.
I thought that she referred to like our main character's mother as her daughter. So I was like, wait, is this the grandma?
Yeah, who knows? But the mother only shows up for like one scene. And funnily enough, the mother is actually the dog trainer of the movie.
Oh, no, the mother shows up for many scenes because she later shows up as a corpse in a bed that Lisa's talking to.
She shows up later in the movie quite a bit. Remember, she flies in?
Yeah, but that's the only time you see her, isn't it?
Well,
oh, no.
She's in a couple
She shows up a whole
scenes.
bunch of scenes, yeah.
Really? There's a scene outside.
Colin, like, passed out.
Time
like,
is nebulous.
But yeah, like, wait, what were we talking about?
So we got to jump because her worst encounter with men from the first 20 minutes of the movie is that her manager comes to her house drunk and tries to sexually assault her.
He just walks in. Yeah, the door is wide open or something too. And he just sort of walks in kind of slurring. And then it's like, oh God, what is this movie? It's like 20 minutes in.
But you know what? At least the dog is still cracking jokes, right?
Yeah, during this whole thing.
He's
so
like,
doesn't
you
the
want me to
dog,
call
like,
you a
save her?
wambulance?
Oh, shit. She tries to commit suicide. I forgot.
That's right.
I forgot. See,
Yeah, we're
half an hour into this movie.
We're jumping all over the place, but it doesn't really matter.
Well, again, like it's one of these movies where it's like a lot happens and yet nothing really happens.
Yeah, so it's like the drunk boss rape. Then the next scene is the Asian guy reveals that he's gay.
Yeah, and she cries about that.
He leaves, and she ends up looking into a mirror in her bathroom and screaming while pulling her hair. Like she is having a mental breakdown. And then she just like takes all these pills. She ODs.
They look like Mentos.
Yeah.
They're quite large.
And she ends up unconscious on her living room floor. And the dog, the
dog to the rescue.
wisecracking dog.
Yeah, he's like, I'm the king of the castle.
Oh God!
No, he
looks
comes
like
in
she
and
OD'd.
he's like, "Oh man, I need her to fall in love with me, or then I'll never be human again. I better go get someone." So he doesn't even give a shit that she's dying. He just wants her to help him.
Yeah,
which does go with what the pond said, which is that he's a selfish
what the pond
dog.
said.
And so he like lays down in the middle of the street and gets someone to come in. I mean, great dog acting.
Yeah, the dog's the best actor in the movie.
Well, there's multiple dogs.
Yeah.
We couldn't just have one.
I guess that's a good point. But I did feel like the dogs seemed happy and they weren't like abused. And they don't ask too much of these dogs for what they're doing, but they can stop where they need to go. And I guess what I'm saying is the dog is my favorite character.
Yeah, they take better direction than the actors, that's for sure. She couldn't give the dog a line reading. No, say it like this.
Exactly.
Well, she did give the dog a line reading multiple times through the movie.
That's not how you
after
bark.
this point, the dog saves her life. She comes back, and this is when he turns into a human, right? Where she's like,
Yeah.
I wrote it down here, where she's like, from now on, no more men. I'm going to stay with you. No more men. And then the dog goes, shebang! It turns into
a man.
Which is like, that's what she's just said she didn't want. But before that, like she names the dog Prince and decides the dog is going to be her dog. She adopts it.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking. He was like a prince? Like how long ago was he cursed? And by whom?
I think you're making up a little extra story there about him being an evil prince.
I don't know.
But could have been in the original.
Oh, he's clearly evil. All his like mean-spirited wisecracks to no one.
Yeah, I need these things to make sense, April.
Oh, speaking of sense, though, then we get a really uncomfortable sex scene.
Oh God, yeah. We go as soon as he's a human, they have sex,
and
it's really uncomfortable.
But it's supposed to be like her, like in ecstasy because she's finally losing her virginity.
It's just creepy
To a dog, man.
And she's like, "This is my dream. I'm just so happy."
No.
And then they have sex, and
she wakes up,
and then it falls apart instantly.
Yeah, she wakes up. The very next cut is like her waking up next to a dog.
And she cries and freaks out, I think, again.
Yeah, it's sort of revealed that, yes, okay, so during the nighttime, he'll be human. Anytime it's day, he's a dog. Nighttime or if
it's cloudy,
the clouds are blocking the sun, which
is
never really works into anything.
Well, it never rains.
Oh yeah,
in LA.
it does.
Yeah, it does. Sorry,
It never rains in LA. I think
So-
that's the idea.
He wakes up as a dog and then immediately runs to the pond to complain because he's like, "Hey, what the hell? Like, I thought we were going to have sex and I was going to be a man for forever." And she's like, "No, you're just using this girl for sex. It has to be true love." Blah blah blah. It's like,
Seems
all right.
like the girl's in love with him though. So
Well, she is.
yeah, but
she,
the dog isn't. That's what you're saying.
she's a nut job. She turns into a complete crazy person.
Yeah.
I'm just reading my notes, and it's like, I don't even remember what scene is which. I just wrote, my ass at one point.
The dog said that because he sat down, and I guess he was implying that the asphalt was hot.
Yeah.
Oh, we
pavement.
skipped the scene that, like, the punchline is the dog going, "I broke your glasses." And we've never seen any glasses. We didn't see the dog do it.
I don't remember.
That's a line that in the interview he said was in the script, and he said it a
wow,
certain
okay.
way, and the director was like, "No, say it this way. I broke your glasses."
Okay.
So there's a lot of, like, plot that happens here.
Well, we've
Like-
we've skipped over the most important part of the plot is when the dog was at the swap meet. There's a scene earlier where the dog gets a talent agent.
Well, a talent agent wants him. He sees him and he's like,
I'm
gotta get that
very
dog."
unclear what the dog does. He just
Okay.
pulls a shirt out of, like, a pile of other shirts, and everybody applauds.
She's at a swap meet, and I don't know if I've never been to a swap meet.
It's not a swap meet, Colin. This is the same store,
store
she
she
works
works
in. It's
at.
a bargain bin situation
This
where
isn't a bin.
They bring in a bunch of clothes and just dump them on the floor.
This is a pile of clothes that are on the floor, and people are rooting through them like animals. I don't know what this is.
Colin, it is a real thing that happens.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's when they have a bunch of extra stock, but it's not free, but it's like severely discounted.
So they just toss it on the floor, and they're like,
yeah.
"Find it, you animals!"
In these kind of like bargain bin places,
Oh my
it is
God.
sometimes on the floor like that.
And so the dog, first of all, the security guard kicks the dog.
Yeah, I mean,
he's messing up his
You don't
clothes.
actually see it. Like, there's no
You hear it.
no harmful. Any harm that it happens to the dog character is like off screen. So you don't. They didn't really hurt the dog
Yeah,
at all.
it's
Just
beaten
that he-
multiple
No.
times off screen.
You need to remember this, what happens at the end of the movie.
very
Oh
important.
God! So like the dog finds a matching top for her, and I guess people are impressed, so they applaud.
Everyone applauds.
And this talent agent spots the dog and is really, really impressed and chases the dog out and is begging her, like, "Please let me use your dog."
And she
in commercials.
really, really doesn't want him to.
So he gives the dog his business card.
Yeah. And then later the dog finds it, so he kept it as a dog.
Where do you keep it? I don't know.
in his mouth. Don't call me, I'll call you. So yeah, so this plot point doesn't really matter because then the dog gets a
The dog gets a job.
Well,
job.
okay, the thing is that
I mean, he doesn't get a blog at least. Dog with a blog.
yeah, after he talks to the pond, he realizes, I think that the way that I can be a better husband, even though they're not officially married, is I have to provide for her. So the only job that he realizes he can get during the day is to be in commercials, and he knows that this talent agent likes him, so he finds him.
And it just
as
so
a dog.
happens that the talent agent is looking for an animal.
for a commercial. or
The talent agent walks into the office. And the dog is just sitting at the desk,
Someone let him in, I guess.
and the talent agent is like, "Can you get the phone?" And it cuts to the dog with like a phone taped to their mouth.
Yeah, but it's like, get
So
the red
cute.
phone, but the dog's holding the phone in its mouth, but it's clearly got like a
bone
It's
on
a
it.
bone that's like glued to the back of it that the dog's actually holding.
But then he picks up the Indigo phone, and he's like, who the hell calls it Indigo?
Here's the thing: dogs are actually colorblind, so they couldn't even pick out any of the stuff.
That's true.
But the thing is, the talent agent's boss is the woman that we saw dressing or trying to get into the tight dress earlier
It's
in
a
the movie.
small world, Colin. A small.
But
world.
it's insinuating that this is going to play an important role somehow in the
Oh,
movie.
no.
Oh no, you never see her
Nope.
again.
That's just a coincidence.
You don't even see the dog filming the commercial.
You see the
you see the
It
commercial
shows he's fighting ninjas.
because yeah, because the dog goes. Where I have the line here. Oh, it's time for you to know I fight crime with ninjas.
But then
Yeah, so she is like very upset that well, first of all, like he has like money to buy her a dress as a human, and she insinuates that he stole it because she's like, you can't work, and he's like, I can. He like tries to explain that he got an agent, and she's furious, which makes no sense.
She even like tries to tear up the dress or something.
Yeah, but anyway, so like in the subsequent scene, the commercial comes on, and he shows her the commercial, which is very cute. What was it called? Ninja dog food or something?
No, it's China Girl, because they're playing actual David Bowie China Girl.
Again, this thing I said with the music not being cleared, and for some reason there's a David Bowie song in this.
Yeah, but in the commercials, the only time there's any music in the movie.
Yes, but how did it get past the Amazon?
I don't know. And what was it, like China Girl baby food or something?
No, it was like Ninja dog food or something.
No, it was China Girl.
It was called China Girl
It was
dog
called
food?
China Girl. That's why they were playing China Girl by David Bowie.
Oh, okay. Well, he mentions throwing stars, I think, at some point.
Yeah, because he's fighting ninjas.
Okay, so something that came up in the interview with Alvin Flang about the scene, which I didn't even think about, which is the dog comes in with a box of money. So the dog went to shoot the commercial, and they paid the
dog in cash,
and the dog left the set with money. That's really funny.
I know. I'm trying to imagine this in my mind.
What's even better about that is that like the lack of identification becomes a big plot point later in the movie.
Yeah. So they hired this dog without an owner. They're just like, you're like they were talking to the dog.
And
like,
they can't hear the dog talking.
No.
The dog shows up after the commercial with an injury. So they injured this dog with like, I don't know,
they're pretty
samurai
they're pretty
sword
loose
or a throwing
about
star.
The rules.
He's not union. They don't have to pay him.
Wait, what happens here? Because I wrote a note that the dog goes and sees the pond, and then he says, I'll feel love in bed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, I think that's around this time where he's just like not taking it seriously, I guess.
Oh, God. I don't want to think about a dog having sex.
Well, we have another big dramatic encounter because...
Like the best friend?
Yes.
Yeah, the best friend discovers a human male in her friend's apartment, and she is so angry. She's like, I thought you were a virgin! You lied to me!
I was trying to make sense of this. I don't know.
It's a completely unwarranted overreaction. I mean, I understand if you're upset that you have a boyfriend and you didn't tell me, but... Like, first of all, she's been telling her to sleep with men, and then, like, again, I don't know how long it's been since they've seen each other. She just assumes that this is her boyfriend and not some random hookup, which she should be happy that she sees.
It makes no sense.
It really doesn't make any sense.
Unless she's like, the best friend is like a sorceress, and she was going to use her in some, she needed a virgin.
Yeah, like a virgin sacrifice. You told me you were a virgin.
I mean, I guess maybe it's just like she'd been lying to her for weeks about not having a boyfriend, and clearly you have. But she gets very upset about the whole virginity thing.
It's so weird. It's very specific about that. So she's gonna have to find somebody else to summon the Dark Lord.
It would only make sense if our main character Lisa was like being mean to the friends, saying, I believe in virginity and you're a disgusting slut, which is not the case at all.
Because you've seen no interaction between these two other than like...
I think, did that park scene and then maybe one other scene? I don't really remember.
Yeah, there's one other scene where her friend intonates that she wants to fuck the dog. Where she's like, look at his big eyes. He's so sexy.
Oh, God.
I mean, we're edging pretty close to bestiality in this movie.
I think we've passed it.
I mean, not really, but like...
Do you think Lisa ever had sex with the dog when he was a dog?
No, I don't want to think about that.
No.
Colin.
I don't want to think about that.
I'm going to say no.
I mean, at one point she puts a leash on the human form
that's
of the man.
right.
That's them just having fun. See, they're edging pretty close to weird
They probably went there, let's be honest.
Yeah. Because like they take like wedding photos.
Who's being naive now?
And she's like, I'll just like put my thing around your neck like you're a dog. Like the ha ha ha. They're joking about it. Like,
they're doing kinky like sex play.
Also, I don't like the guy that plays Prince. He's very bland. I mean, he's kind of like Beefcake. He's cute, but he doesn't.
Yeah, he's like, hurry, we got to finish the shoot. I got a David Dakota movie I got to get to.
Well, I think that it's very obvious why he was hired.
Yeah.
And he is shirtless most of this movie. And I mean, it does make sense because he turns into a dog and back. And I'm glad they're not doing the whole like, oh, I'm just clothes just appeared on me. It had that realism.
So
very important.
then we meet the real villain of the movie, Lisa's mom.
Lisa's mom and the aunt/grandma, because she's bad too. She's
they're
like
horrible.
trying to like rip apart her life. And
She's like, you need to, like, she wants Lisa to marry so badly. Did you notice the Lynchian touch when they're all in the restaurant?
Yes.
There's an overhead shot of them eating all at the same time.
Yes, all their forks go up at the same time. It's really creepy.
the thing is like they seem happy that she has met this man, but then they're like, something weird is going on and I will get to the bottom of it, and no matter what. And then they first of all, he seems like the perfect guy, but they seem intent on destroying their relationship.
Well, they're obsessed with his bank account and how much money he makes.
Well, see, this is where you get the idea that the reason that everyone wants her to get married, at least her mom, is because it's the whole security thing.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't possibly support yourself. You need a man to make money. It's very much the room, you know, the mom in the room. And the
mom is
Lisa,
like,
too.
she's like, what? You have a boyfriend? That's great. You must marry him tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm leaving tomorrow, so you better get married. Let's go to the courthouse in the morning. And she's like, he has to work in the morning because he's dog during the day.
Again, with the mom like doing this, the mom is in leagues with the best friend. There's some witch thing going on here. You know, you must
They
marry
need a
him.
virgin or something like that.
You must marry him before
I need
dawn.
to suck your youth.
I was telling April that it reminded me of remember Lady Hawk, the movie with Michelle Pfeiffer and
Yes.
Rutger Hauer.
I haven't seen it, but it sounds very cute.
Yeah, you know, where Michelle Pfeiffer is a hawk during the day, but a woman at night, and then Rutger Hauer is like a wolf at night, but a man during the day. This reminds me of that.
It's a
Except
cute
shit.
idea.
And, like, the dog wants to get married. He doesn't have a problem with that. And they're sitting in the car, and he's like, hey, can't we just go get a marriage license during the night? And Elisa's like, you don't have any ID. They won't
She's
give
like
it to you.
freaking out. She's like, this is never gonna work. Now, is this?
And he's like, it's not my fault they won't give a dog a marriage license.
Yeah, and like, this is before she tries to have a baby, isn't it?
Oh God, yeah, we forgot that scene.
Yeah, but is this before that?
And I
mean,
think
who
it's.
knows?
I think it's after.
Because it's like weird. Because it's like he wants to get married, but she's like, you can't. And then later she's like, let's have a baby, and he's like, no, it might end up being like me.
As a dog.
There's this weird like forced tension for where they will be upset about things that are not in character, but who
Well,
even knows what their characters
it's
are.
conflict.
At one point,
April.
he like runs off and he's like, I'm a dog, I'm a dog, I'm a dog. Or no, he goes, I'm so depressed right now. I need to get some Kung Pao chicken.
Oh, God.
Some Kung Pao. And I'm like, is this a joke?
No, well, obviously,
was.
yeah.
I
I was
Yeah.
laughing.
Hey, I think my last bit of insider information from that interview with the dog guy, when he's singing those fake songs, the director told him that there would be music underneath. So that's why it's in there, because I think he was just like, oh, just make up a song and then I'm gonna have the composer create music underneath it. So
She
that's
probably
why
also
that's
said he'd be paid. Directors say a lot of things, April.
So, like, one of the big twists is that the auntie comes over to the house and gets Lisa out of the house, and she's left with Prince in human form.
Well, she,
And the auntie is like, "Who are you? Get out of my!"
She wants to get to the bottom. She suspects something, and she's asking him for bank account slips.
Yeah.
Like,
She's
where do you
where's
work?
your bank book? Do you guys even remember what a bank book is? I don't think anyone has used, where you balance your checkbook.
Yeah, I know. You're looking at me like I don't remember what a bank book is.
Well, I don't know. I only used one once.
I was banking before ATMs were a thing, April.
Okay.
Holy
I remember
shit.
going to the bank with my mom.
Yeah, back when they were terrified that, the robber barons were coming around, robbing them banks.
I remember she took me to the bank and was showing me this new ATM, and it was gigantic. It was like, I don't know.
It's like Hal from 2001.
Yeah, but
or
it
the
was
obelisk.
enormous, and it had
mean,
it looked like a Cylon or something.
There
It had
may
this,
have not been ATMs when I was a little kid.
There were definitely ATMs when we were kids, April.
and I remember everybody was so terrified, and she was like showing me how to use it, and it didn't have a screen. It had this like little kind of, like in Star Trek, and Spock looks through that little kind of like viewfinder thing. It looked like that, so nobody could see what you were typing, and everybody was terrified that they were it's gonna take over banks. There's gonna be no bank tellers anymore.
Well, didn't happen.
Machines
But
took
now
over.
all the clerks are being replaced by computers.
Yeah.
Hello.
I mean, they still have regular banks now.
Oh no, Colin's a computer now. He's been Superman 4, 3?
It was
When did they
3.
turn into a computer? 3, yeah.
Really disturbing scene.
So we're not even like to the like main final conflict because
There's so many conflicts.
yeah, because it's suddenly introduced that like Lisa's very worried about getting a promotion at her job. Yeah, the boss's house where Lisa's like, Prince, you need to be there in human form for some reason.
Well, she's got to impress the boss because she's about to get a promotion.
And it just happens to be a cloudy, rainy day. But the dog, Prince, he doesn't want to go. He's just like, it's a bad idea. But she convinces him that it's a good idea, even though disaster could happen.
You know, this is
And it does.
Anytime there's an important dinner scene with the boss, do bosses still do that?
Oh, God, no.
No.
I got the boss
There's
coming
no
over
way.
for dinner, honey.
Yeah, because the bosses are like, I don't know who you are. You're going to be fired in 4 weeks anyway. We'll replace you with somebody else.
I need
Did you get my
the,
text saying you're fired?
assistant manager of my dress barn to come over and impress me with her boyfriend for dinner before I give her a promotion.
And this is the weirdest thing because earlier on, her manager like attempts to rape her and then drunkenly stumbles out of her apartment and says, "You're fired." So
and then she's still working at the same place.
I don't know.
I'm assuming that guy got fired.
I
This
guess.
is not the boss that has her over for dinner.
Yeah.
This is like the regional manager.
This is the big boss.
Yeah.
He owns the chain. So he's saying he's going to, I don't know, let her manage one of the chains or something like that. Or
Yeah, but also we never see inside this house, do we? We're just in the backyard.
just the outside.
That's where they had permission
And
to
I mean,
film.
the backyard's where the sun comes out, where Prince, in the middle of talking to, I don't know, one of the boss's kids, turns into a dog. And that kid, I mean, he catches on to what's going on right away. He's like, Prince turned into a dog.
and this freaks out the lead character and she falls into the pool.
I think
somehow.
she just jumps into the pool.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
there's no reason.
And Prince is tired of this at this point.
Yeah.
He does not want to save her. He has a line, all right, grab on, you pizza-face cinder block.
Yeah, that is the quintessential line of the movie.
Yeah, because she can't swim, so for whatever reason she jumped into the pool. I don't know.
And then
Well, she wanted to kill herself.
And then it cuts.
She constantly wants to do that in this
it
movie.
cuts to the very next scene, and it is lit like a horror movie, and she is on the living room floor sobbing uncontrollably.
she sobs like every other scene.
with like these
awful.
like dark shadows, being cast onto her.
I think it's here that, like, at one point, she's talking to her mom, and her mom is in, like, a bed, and it looks like her mom is dead.
Well,
And
they
she's
say
like,
that she
I
has,
never
like,
want you to see Prince again. Please, Lisa, swear to God.
She has asthma or something.
That might have
She's using
been
a puffer.
That might have been earlier because I think this is the scene where Prince decides he's going to leave her. He's causing her too much grief, so he
I want to be a
decides,
dog.
I want to be a dog
full-time.
again. He leaves her sobbing on the living room floor.
Yeah, Prince sings a song as he's running
happily
away.
running away, singing. He doesn't care about her. And then we cut to years later.
No, not yet.
What?
No,
You
the dog has to
No,
save
you missed some
her
very
or
important stuff because Prince realizes that he does love her,
Yeah. He's
and
like,
he
"What have I
runs
done?"
back to see her,
Yeah.
and he gets hit by a car
Oh my God.
Did you
and
forget?
dies.
That's a
forgot.
very-
And he's like, "I love you," and he's like covered in blood.
I don't remember
No.
what exactly was the catalyst for him realizing that.
I think it like the pawn was like, "Don't you have feelings for her?" And he like switches right away.
Yeah. So they shoot a little scene where they pretend that the dog got hit over by a car, run over, and they put some fake blood on it.
Put some spaghetti sauce
But
on
the
the
dog is okay, but it's really sad because he dies, and Lisa is very, very upset about this, and she is now under the impression that because he was kind of a magic dog, that he's gonna return to
Like
her
reincarnated or
someday,
something?
somehow. We don't really know.
So okay, yeah. Not only that, but seemingly according to the film, 30 to 50 years pass of her waiting in the same apartment.
Again, I have no idea how much time has passed.
I think judging by the age of her friends' kids, it's been at
Her
least 10
grandchildren.
Those were her grandchildren?
She says grandchildren.
No.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Then why doesn't the
She says
friend? Well, actually, the
grandchildren.
friend does kind of have gray hair. I think they did give her a little bit. Of gray hair.
barely. How many years?
She says grandchildren. Because I was
Oh
like,
my
what?
God.
Yeah, she shows up with 4 kids, but she says I was looking for an apartment.
Yes, I haven't seen you in years.
First of all, she would remember that her friend lived there.
Yes.
She's just like, oh yeah, I forgot. You're still here? I forgot. I went to this place. I guess maybe she.
And she's like, have you been waiting, Prince, for all this time?
Yeah, this is where you stage an intervention for your friend. Okay.
Well, the 30. Well, I think the assumption is after they had that fight about her not being a virgin again, they never saw each other.
Oh god.
Yeah, I think that's the case.
Yeah.
They had like a friendship ending fight. So she shows up and she's like, they have a little heart to heart. They hug, and Lisa explains how she's been waiting this whole time.
She said an ad running for apartment for rent to remind Prince,
who was never looking for an apartment.
That makes no sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
And then what's the weird thing?
Wait, there's an important line where she says, Prince would be my age, wouldn't he, when he died? And she's like, no, he'd be the day that he died and was reborn.
I was so confused.
Wait, so what does Lisa think? She thinks that Prince is still out there, but he died, but he would be her age?
Or he becomes a human after his dog form dies? I don't know.
Well, big reveal, everybody, because guess what? Prince comes back and seems to insinuate that he has been living another life without her.
Yeah. No, he says he was...
Because he's like, I'm a doctor.
No, he was a dog trainer. Yeah, and he's like, so naturally I'm very successful. And he has like a shaggy
And then
wig.
she's like, oh, Prince, what has been happening? And then he goes, it's better that you don't know, as if he has like another family or he's like murdered some people.
I thought he was saying like, it's better that you don't know, like I was in hell or something.
I don't... Oh, God.
He was in hell.
I want to see that movie.
He came back as Spawn.
I want to see that movie, yeah. He's like this dog just fighting skeletons in hell.
Like been waiting for so long, and then he turns around and then he becomes old like her.
She should have been like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
I don't want the old version of you.
This is so just so disturbing and confusing. And when he shows up in her apartment, he's wearing some crazy fake looking wig that's all kind of spiky and
Maybe
weird
the
looking.
actor got a haircut.
Well, it's dark hair. It's like dark brown or something.
Yeah, it's like, why would you put a wig on him if you got a haircut? He just has normal hair.
He's supposed to be a different person anyway, I guess. I don't know. Who cares?
The ending is so baffling. And then it ends on them like twirling young again, right? Getting married.
No,
they're old.
They're old?
Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
I really couldn't remember. And I watched this
they're just kind of like
12 hours ago.
making out. You know, they're all like in wedding attire. Yeah, no friends.
No.
It should have ended with him going, because when night arrives, I turn into a dog.
I think he'd prefer that if he could be a human during
Do you think he was like, see, now we don't have to worry about having kids because I had them with my other family, and also you definitely can't have kids, you old maid now.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then over the credits they show like bloopers that are 100% not bloopers.
Quote unquote bloopers.
They're behind the scenes shots that are not amusing, and there's like 3 of them. It's like the scene where the dog jumps in the pool and the scene where the dog is like covered in blood. And I think that's it, right?
It's just the dog trainer yelling at the dog to jump into the pool. And that's the mother actress.
Well, I think that's great that they could reuse an actor to do both things.
Sure.
And that's the movie.
That's Love on a Leash. Oh my God.
Okay, so I have a question for you guys.
Wait, we didn't pick our favorite things. I think that April said her favorite was the dog.
I said the dog in general, but I mean, I meant like the dog actor, like the actual dog.
Okay, the dog actor. Colin, what's your favorite thing?
Retriever.
I'm gonna do something a little different this week. There isn't one thing in the movie that I think is good. I think we can all agree that really nothing works. But
I don't know about that. I can definitely pick something good in this movie. Lots of things.
Okay. I'm going to say that, you know, the reason that we're supposed to pick these positive things and our favorite things is because to sort of show that even a movie that's very bad, where not a lot of things works, still is worthwhile. It has sort of meaning. And I think just this movie, just it existing, I think is a very positive thing.
The fact that it exists is your favorite thing.
And I think you know, it's very rare that you see a movie where just nothing works on a technical level or on a storytelling level, but these movies are very, very useful to people. You know, and you kind of study film. They're great to watch, like The Room, where almost nothing works, and you just need to see why things need to be done a certain way.
Yes, and it was the director's vision. She had a very clear vision.
Yeah,
and we don't get a lot of female directors on this show,
which is fine. And it's just one of those movies where you're just mystified, and you wanna.
Yeah.
It tells more about the director than anything. So I think I just love these sort of like little oddities, where you're like, where did this come from?
Well, Sailor clearly likes the movie. I don't know.
After all that, my favorite thing is when the dog goes, "Oh, my ass!" So that's my favorite thing.
But Justin, can you imagine how bad this movie would be if we didn't have the wisecracking voiceover?
Oh, it would be.
What would the movie be?
Nightmare.
I don't think we'd be talking about it if it didn't have a wisecracking voiceover.
It would be more of a nightmare than it actually is right now.
Like if the dog didn't talk. Can you
Yeah.
imagine there's like a no dog version, like no joke version of the movie?
So it's just like 5 minutes.
It's just Lisa like weeping and crying
Just
the entire
5
time.
minutes of a dog in silence running around a duck pond. It'd be so
That'd be amazing. Someone needs to make that version of the movie. Just go in, and there's no music, so it's not like you're cutting
yeah,
around
it's
anything. Just remove the dog.
Silence.
The no music thing, though, it really made me feel like I was watching a movie that wasn't finished, and that's a problem.
It's like a rough cut.
So, for all of these reasons, I do have a hard time recommending this movie.
Oh man, it's an easy recommendation for me. No problem.
I had a hard time with this movie, but I am not upset I watched it. I did feel like I would have had more fun watching the Tyler Perry movie, but it's just like such a bizarre oddity.
But like the Tyler Perry films, have you seen any of them? They're very technically incompetent as well.
Great. No, I've only seen the one that I wanted to do. Just that one.
Oh, okay.
Well, it might be coming soon. Who knows? But yeah. So as we mentioned, this is on Amazon Prime if you're in the States.
And
if you're in
Tubi.
Canada, it's on Tubi. It's on Tubi in the States as well.
If you want the version with music, I looked and you could order it from the production company's website for $200.
No, are you kidding?
Yes, because it was originally $850, but they don't sell for public use anymore, like single use. You can only buy like for libraries and stuff like that. So
I
it's
see.
$200.
Do not pay that. Although I am curious to see the version with music. Really am. I'm sure it's much better. Yeah.
I disagree.
So if you feel like you want
I
to see the
disagree.
movie that everyone is talking about, check it out.
Yeah, everyone was talking about like 3 years ago. We're late. On
See the movie
on the
that
Love On A Leash
everybody's
train.
barking about.
It's true. I think it was 3 years ago, probably. That,
Probably, yeah.
The Ralph video came out.
Yeah.
Letterboxd has
Rest in peace, Ralph, wherever you
has
are.
a ton of reviews of this, mostly positive.
Yeah.
Or saying like, oh, it's the worst movie I've ever seen, but you have to watch it. Like, it's another one of these things also that would probably be a lot more fun with a group of friends, but
Yeah.
you can't have friends anymore watch movies.
Well, you can still have friends. You just can't see them.
Yeah. That's Love on a Leash.
Woof.
Woof. Yeah.
If you want to email the podcast, we're at no such thing as a bad movie at gmail.com, and we're on Twitter at no such thing pod, and we're on patreon.com/no such thing as a bad movie. If you want to become a patron, if you subscribe on the $5 level, you can get a little bonus episode every 2 weeks that comes out on the off week. And if you're on the $2 level or above, you can be submitted into the lottery to pick an episode, which I think is coming up soon in
Yeah, my favorite part
it's
of the podcast.
always worked out well.
I think
for
it's
us.
coming up in the next 2 weeks. I think we got 2 more movies to go, but it's coming up soon. And thank you for everyone who subscribed recently. And we released a little special Q&A on Patreon for our patrons. So subscribe if you want to listen to that. And I am on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, just at April Mansky.
You can follow me on Twitter, DeClueJ, Letterboxd, Justin DeClue, DCLOUX, and letter J. You can listen to me on the Important Cinema Club podcast, which I do every week.
And you can follow me on Twitter. I'm Sergeant Zima, SGTZIMA.
And that's it. That's it for this week. It was a tough one, but we got through it together with the love of a leash.
Yeah,
Leashes.
and
Yeah, we love leashes.
check out Ralph the Movie Maker's video on it. It's really funny.
yeah,
And if you want all the behind the scenes dirt, watch his interview with the voice actor. Who played the
yeah,
dog.
and that'll come up if you just search YouTube Love on a Leash. Interview with Alvin Flang, I think it says, which is not his real name, but it's beside the point. Anyway, that's it for this week. I'm April Atmansky.
I'm Justin the Clue.
And I'm Colin Cunningham,
And remember,
a.k.a. Alvin the Flame.
and remember,
no.
there's no such thing as a bad movie.